it was really one thing leading to the next. I was a photographer. As I said, I was living in Woodstock, New York, which has a fabulous history of, it was the second oldest art colony in the country. So I met people who were there from even the 1930s, artists, and not just artists, all kinds of creative people. And I was immersed in the history of Woodstock, and there had been some great photographers there. So that sort of put me into interest in the history of photography. I discovered the work of a woman named Eva Watson-Schutzer, who had been a member of the Photo Secession and published in Alfred Stieglitz's camera work. So that was really the beginning. And in between starting a commercial gallery and those moments of discovery, I founded a nonprofit, not-for-profit school, school gallery workshop program, still alive. We had our 40th anniversary. It's called the Center for Photography in Woodstock. That was comfortable for me to have a nonprofit and do all this. My motivation was really to show this wonderful art community that I was in what photography was all about, because the older artists really didn't respect photography that much. They knew, but you know, it was different than being a painter or whatever. So I did that, and I loved doing it. Couldn't make much of a living at all. Knew I had to. I also loved the fact that you could find great treasures, great photographs, Photographica, 19th century stuff, everywhere. They were in the country auctions, they were in the attics of people in Woodstock, they were in the flea markets, and I loved the idea of finding buried treasures, so I went around and I would find things, and as I found them, I would research them, and you know, it'd get me deeper and deeper into the history, and finally, I decided, okay, this is the first day of the rest of my life. I'm going to open a gallery for photography. I had no idea if I could make a go of it and make enough money to survive on and all that, but I did love it. I was seriously passionate, and so in 1981, I started Photo Find Gallery, because I used to find photographs. Dumb title, but that's what I used. And I was off and running, and it worked. And during the 5 years between 81 and 86, when I moved the gallery to Soho in New York City, a lot happened. One major event was the Getty Museum started to collect photography. They famously put about $30 million into acquiring several of the greatest collections that had been amassed at the time. Acquiring those, plus a lot of other work from various dealers. And I was able to make some pretty significant sales there, and it was the first time I ever really had some money in the bank as a gallery, as a dealer. And it catapulted me way forward. I could use that money to buy more photography and parlay it and grow an inventory and all that. And I was still pretty small by the time I moved to the city in '86. I had a rather tiny space. It was a slice of a small floor that Lawrence Miller, Larry Miller, had rented, and he wasn't sure he could make the rent, you know. And Larry and I were close friends because we used to travel together a lot to other cities with our boxes of photographs. And it was $900 a month, so I said, I'll take it. And I was off and running and having a gallery in the city. It did well over that 5 years, and then I moved in '91 to a much larger space. I made, I think, at the time, it was a fairly large gallery for photography, and it was great. And my 13 years or so in that space, the gallery really took off. It really grew well. Changed the name to Howard Greenberg, and we had great coverage in the New York Times. It had a succession of good reviewers who really liked my program. So the gallery, I guess, became, you know, fairly highly recognized during that period. And then finally, Soho changed, galleries were leaving there, so I moved to Midtown Manhattan, where I still am. It's already 13 years I'm there.